Frieren is a peculiar anime to talk about and a peculiar story overall. Not so much in the fact that it's unique, many stories follow similar beats. No, the interesting part about this anime, at least to me, is the show's comedy, which is rare for a modern Japanese comedy. But we'll get to it in a bit. Let's start with the usual preamble. Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a 28-episode fantasy anime developed by Studio Madhouse that tells us a story about Frieren, a mage in a party that defeated the Demon Lord and her escapades after that, as everyone she genuinely cherished dies while she has to continue existing for all eternity. So she embarks on a new journey with a new set of mortals that get to teach her about life and all that other shit. Note that none of this is really new. We have talked about a story of a war veteran doing shit after the war a few times here, and frankly speaking, neither are the characters that unique either. The biggest and most notable thing about them is that they all fall in the popular trend these days of socially awkward people trying to do their best while having to deal with life and shit. How Freudian or whatever. What makes Frieren's story unique compared to, let's say, Helk is that it managed to combine deadpan comedy with a somber tone into one coherent package. And let no one fool you, this is a comedy anime, as nearly all episodes either contain a lot of jokes or are centered around a joke of some form, but you'll be forgiven to miss this, as the show is also incredibly melancholic, and almost every episode has one or two characters moping about some random bullshit ranging from the weight of their choices hovering over them like a Damocles sword to Frieren being lazy. Again. And it's not bad, especially because, unlike Helk, it knows when to be serious and when to be silly. It manages to keep its tone consistent throughout the entire show, even when new characters are introduced. The worst story criticism I can levy against it is the fact that the second part of the show, the Mage Exam, felt out of place in this story, focusing on many other characters other than the party and on pure combat that the show previously wasn't fond of showing. As a result, the second part of the show feels less like a journey and more like your average tournament arc that can be fought in any old shonen story, and even that is very subjective. After all, people like tournaments for a reason. The graphics are predictably not that good. Oh, don't get me wrong, the visuals themselves are stunning, and the show fully embraces this in a way that can be most aptly compared to Record of Lodoss War, but the animation itself is cheap, a lot of scenes are simplified, and the show often relies on you not noticing the 3D elements used here. Still, I can't fault them for this. Animation is expensive, and the story does do a lot of heavy lifting when it matters. The music is pretty good, what I can best describe as romantically Norse, which is unsurprising coming from an anime with names such as Eisen, Himmel und Flamme. Overall, Frieren is a great fantasy show, a showcase of power this genre can have in the hands of competent people that treat the source material with respect and veneration. It's ultimately not that unique, but it doesn't need to be, and neither will you feel really disappointed with this show unless you're one of those pedants who can't enjoy a show unless it crushes all your hopes and dreams. While personally I can't say that this anime is the best thing ever, and so far it was the closest one to the best so far. Let's see if the other big one will have the same effect on me, shall we?